Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to P1. A very different lineup than what you're used to, but it is myself, Michael Edwards, and joined with me in the commentary box is the man, the myth, the legend, is Evil Dragon. How are you going, Evil?
Oh, I'm doing very good. I'm doing a little bit better than Arnold. My screen, he's in the pit lane, but he's currently driving on circuit, I'm guessing. It looks very interesting. I'm actually enjoying this. Very strange in the pit lane. He's in the garage. But nonetheless, yes, I am here for commentary of the day. My voice is fine. Of course, Jess, who's currently at Brandsat, and Jamie, who is not feeling very well. Understandably, he did win a title like 2 hours ago, so I think he deserves a little bit of a rest. But you've got me, you've got my dear friend, and we've got 16 drivers ahead of us around Abu Dhabi, a circuit which has provided a lot of entertainment and, we'll admit it, quite a lot of penalties, especially in the pit lane.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, that is something that obviously the driver's going to have to make sure that they do record their race, because that could be the difference between you getting a good result and you dropping off a podium, especially in a tier like P1. But of course, qualifying is underway, so we'll transfer over to the action on track. And you see Kraki there just coming through, and he's got the provisional lap time at the moment with a 1:22.3.
Yeah, he's absolutely flying a 22.3. So in P4, which I was doing, I think it was a 23.3 we got. So these guys are exactly 1 second quicker at current pace. Now, I don't exactly know, and I'll have to get all the standings up, what if there's any permutations or what is going on in P1, because I haven't... I've jumped in very late. So we'll work it out as we go, indeed.
Yes, I think both of us are in the same situation with that. Obviously, jumping in a little bit last minute to make sure we can get things going. But yeah, I mean, from my understanding, there is a championship battle. I don't think it's a championship battle that is going to be wrapped up here tonight, but I think there is a very spicy battle going on in P1.
Yeah, looking at it, so Alex, who I don't know which one Alex is.
In the Haas.
In the Haas. Oh, there we go. So if Alex wins a fast lap, Marco must finish 6th. Otherwise, Alex is champion. So there is definitely a championship which can, it seems, be wrapped up here today. And that is always what we like to see. We want to all have a lot of things. Now, again, the game is having a bit of a moment for me. So Axel likes to come out on circuit. He's currently missing all his tyres, his front wing, and he's just driving around floating in midair. So the new Aston Martin is working wonders right now, I will admit. So the game will fix itself in due course. So if you hear me giggle, that's why.
Yeah, as we got Dave coming to the line, and he jumps up in the P9 with a 23.1, as I believe Arnold has just left the session, unfortunately. Hopefully we can get him back in. It appears he may have lagged out. Unfortunately, we got Colin R. Mason on a lap right now. He's just come through the hairpin, and now he's got DRS and ERS in full deployment, running down that long straight in towards the chicane.
Yeah, absolutely flat out 208 miles an hour. Slightly drops down to about 205. Chuck it into chicane. Over the left, then quickly bring it straight to the right. Take the shortest line you can down it. Hug the inside like your favourite granny. And then around about the middle of the circuit, right under this board, you want to slowly start edging it right to the right-hand side of the circuit before the newer section of this track. The slight banked corner as you then come straight down into pretty much the final sector. Top right hand, of course, all this reprofiled in 2021, I believe it was. And of course, nice through there underneath the hotel, which is glimmering in the moonlight. And of course, we've just got 2 more corners to go. Colin, a good old friend of mine, through the last 2 corners, where can you go? So I think it's going to be around about P4, I think he's going to cross the line. I don't think it's going to be P4, it's P8. So, I mean, it's a multiplying of 4. So I'll give myself half a point. So P8 for him right now, so 23.4. A big wobble to finish the next lap as well. Morgan is not on a lap time, so I think we've got Axel and we've also got Casper on a lap time right now. Casper is currently coming through the last sector. And again, you want to bring the car right up to the wall but not too much, because of course on this game it's a little bit further away than I believe it is in real life. He's going to have a car right in front of him through the last corner, but I think they might just get away with it. Here comes Casper across the line, goes up to P number 7, and now we're seeing who is next on a lap time. I think it's going to be Axellock. It's Axellock coming through the last sector in the Aston Martin. So he is currently, I think, on course for a top 5 in qualifying right now. It's incredibly close. It's 22.3 for pole, and it goes down to a 22.8 for 5th position. So can he slot himself in the middle of that? The answer is just outside of the middle of that.
Yeah, very close indeed from Axellock to Pippin ahead of Callum and Armed there. But I believe, are you able to invite Alex into the lobby? Because I believe he does need an invite into the lobby.
I do not have him as a friend. Unless he's mysteriously down here. And I do have 400 friends on here. So, do I have him? No.
I am not sure if I have him, but of course I would have to go onto the pause and everything to go through it all to send him the invite. As we got Curry now coming to the line, and he goes up into P10, so Curry there with a 23 flat. We got Arnold on an out lap as well. He's about to get his lap underway as we got lap times coming in now. Callum and Armed finds nearly 2/10 improvement, but doesn't improve his position, stays in P6. We got Craggy coming through the final couple of corners now, and yeah, he's into the pits. He's not happy with that lap, is Craggy.
Yeah, so Craggy's bailed out of his lap time, seeing who is next on a lap time. Arnaud is beginning his lap time in the Alpine. He's currently sitting in terms of the championship. Let's see, he's currently 14th in the championship, finished 4th last time out, so a little bit uptime in form at Miami. So let's see what he can do as he comes down the one of 2 DRS zones on this circuit. First braking zone for this little section, it's down here. Track slightly winds up to make it slightly narrower. Now these drivers, from what I've seen in the other tiers, they tend to use a little bit more of the yellow, the kind of turquoise colour. Now apparently, according to the esports people out there, this gives you more of an advantage. Now, I don't know how much advantage. I don't think it's much, but every little helps for these drivers, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Every single margin is so small, so whenever you can find just a tiny little bit of time, you're going to absolutely try to gain as much of it as you can. As Arnold now coming underneath the hotel in the final sector. And just 2 more corners to go. It's looking like a pretty decent lap right now from Arnold as we come through the penultimate corner now in towards the final corner, dropping it down 3rd gear, clipping that inside curb, using a bit of the exit curb, and it's up to P7 for Arnold.
Yeah, it seems a very good battle for P7 is McCoy, who's currently right up there in the fight for this championship. He's currently P2 on 137 points. He's now put himself right up there at 22 points there. That is a very intimidating lap time for the rest of the field. That's 3/10 so far, quicker than anyone else.
Yeah, Marco there with a absolutely fantastic lap time there, a 22 flat. Question will be, obviously, I think we may get the answer pretty soon with a lap time like that. Will we see anyone into the 21s?
Well, there's certainly a chance. And by the way, Craigie and Epic Animal, exactly the same lap time to the 1,000th of a second. So that just shows how close this field is certainly going to be. I'm just going to scroll through and see who is on a lap time. We've got Colin, I believe, has just begun another lap time for him. He's 59 thousandths down in Sector 1 as I scroll through. Yellow flags for one of the McLarens further down, Lakitu.
Yeah, he's on a lap right now, just coming through the chicane. Using that ERS, second DRS straight now. Lakitu coming to that middle sector split. Currently up in P5. Has he found any time in the middle sector? He did run a little bit deep on entry, and I think that has compromised him slightly as he came through the chicane because he ran a little bit deep and he's now a 10th and a half down.
Yeah, it's all going to matter through there. You've got that massive long straight and it's kind of snowballs through there. You can start bringing it back if you hook this last sector up. Currently P5 needs to find just over a 10th and a bit to put himself, well, P2 right now if he does find it. So let's see. Last 2 corners, absolutely flat out. Rear end, he's coming in the pit lane. So he's decided, you know what, I'm going to bail out of this one. What you not want to do in the race, do not touch that curb because you will be pinged the many issues of the stewards. They might have a fun afternoon of trying to remove penalties because it's very easy. Now, I don't know if it's a glitch. I'm sure you might do, Mike. Is it a glitch down there that's causing that? Because I've never noticed it.
Yes, it is. Of course, I mean, I experienced that track limit warning earlier on in P3, and obviously it did give me a time penalty for it. But yeah, it's obviously you're still within the track limits, but it just gives you the warning if you just even get close to that inside curb.
Yeah, it's a triple warning, which is very weird. Meanwhile, Craig's gone around. He's kept that out of the wall well, hasn't he? And that's not a nice place to be situated, but gets the car turned around. And just the rear end just not enjoying that one as much. And I wonder, are you going to go straight into the pit lane and abandon that one? Yes, he will. So he doesn't, he spins it again. So
and
Craig
Casper's
on the
done the exact same thing through that same corner. Casper doing the exact same thing, losing front wing as well. And reminiscent of what happened to Lakitu a few years back, if you remember that. Sorry, not Lakitu, Latifi. Sorry. Latifi a few years back for the final couple of corners.
Yeah, well, that Latifi incident is, one of infamy if you're a Lewis Hamilton fan, or one of enjoyment if you're a Verstappen fan. We'll not get into our opinions on should that have come, that safety car had come in or not, because I think we all know the answer to that one, depending on who you are. Curie was purple in Sector 2, meanwhile, in the Haas. Now, as per usual, caveat on that one, we don't actually know if it's purple Sector 2 or any of the purple sectors. It was certainly, he's looking like a decent laptop right now, so he's just coming through the last corner. We'll just round to see if he comes in the pit lane, which I think the answer is going to be no. So let's see, where can the Haas driver go? Can he get himself up the grid a fair bit? Well, he's currently P10 right now, so it was definitely a better lap time than the one he did earlier on.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the correct choice for Curry. I think maybe coming into the pits and coming out on a fresh set of sauce and then going again at the end of the session would have been the more prudent strategy, because right now we see he might be having enough fuel to save up and go again, but he's going to be struggling on those tyres that he's already done a flying lap on now.
I'm just going through and just getting added to the P1 chat, so I'm just seeing what's going on there. I've been asked, can I invite Alex? The answer to that is, I don't think I can.
Alex has rejoined the session, I think. I did see his name pop up at the bottom,
yes, yes, you're right. So that is sorted itself out now. So that's all good to see. So he looks like he's back in the session. So we've got Mackay currently P1, 2 minutes to go in qualifying. Everyone apart from the Q2 is not currently out on the lap. In fact, as I say that, he's coming out of the pit lane. So everyone out on circuit. So it's going to be tense to see who is going to get pole. Now, I don't know who's going to get pole. I honestly would put my guess on Epic the Animal. He's very quick. I've known him for many years, commentating on him all the way back, I think 2018, if memory serves, goes a long way back. So he's a quick driver, but I just don't know. It's so close between all of them, apart from Mackay, who's 3/10 ahead of everyone.
Yeah, Marco's a good shout for pole position. Craggy as well. Obviously, you can never underestimate the pace of Craggy when he gets going. Of course, a lot of drivers are capable of getting pole position here, but I think it is definitely going to be between the top 4 for pole position as well. Mert as well, I think has a good chance of pole position. Craggy on a flying lap right now, coming down in towards the chicane. As a couple of guys on the outlap getting out of his way, which he'll be very thankful for.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's all going to be very crucial to see who is doing what. A lot of cars bunched up in the midfield. Meanwhile, the Ferrari working together with a nice tow between Craig and I believe that's the overthrow of Morgan. So team play working quite well here, and that team play can come very much into strategy. Of course, we saw it in P4 with the 2 Red Bulls trying their best to destabilize Jamie's championship run. It didn't quite work out for the Red Bulls due to situations of the safety car. And let's see, so Craig, through the last 2 corners, needs a good lap time here. Can he get himself on the front row of the grid? With that tow, it might be very close. Cross line does improve at 22.1, but not enough.
No, as we got Epic, who's over a 10th up in the middle sector. He's in the final sector now. Epic potentially could jump back ahead of Craggy and maybe challenge Marco here. Coming through the final corner now comes the RB, hooking it up nice and tight to the apex. To the line will come Animal, and he gets P2, but it's not enough to beat Marco.
Yeah, Marco, incredibly good lap time. Let's see, we've got a Merce coming through the last two corners right now as well. In the Williams, gets it absolutely sideways on my end, but he's got it absolutely perfect as he goes even quicker. 21.8 from the Williams. What can his teammate do? I don't think he can match it, but he'll go P2 then, 21.9. So the two Williams on the front row of the grid as it currently stands. Can anyone do anything about it? Well, it's not going to be Callum. He did not improve on his lap time. Lakitu on a lap time. He's 55 thousandths up as well. The two Saubers currently coming through the last two corners as well, with Mason, who's invalidated, so he's going to be starting down at least in 15th. J. Cole through the last corner. Can he do a surprise? Up to the line. Can he get himself near the front? Only goes 12th position. Does not improve. The two Ferraris, as we said, were going up. Someone else has improved massively there as well. Morgan through the last corner. A little bit sketchy through there. Now across the line doesn't improve either.
Here comes Axlock to the line, up to P9 for him. Arnold now the last man to cross the line, and he's up in the P4. What a lap there from Arnold.
Yeah, he's got to get those lap times in right at the death of it. So everyone does. Alex did, like we said, did get back in the session. He's qualified P8 so far, and well, it's almost 2x2x2 in some instances. The two Williams up front, Epic in third. A great lap time from him as well. Just over 2 tenths off of P1. Arnold, as you said, P4. Craig, Lakitu, and we're just seeing if anyone's on a lap time that we can't see, but I think everyone is finished it. We're just waiting for the game to send us back to the pit lane.
Yeah, I believe we're waiting on Epic, who is currently in the pit lane, to retire in the pits, I believe.
Yes.
But I mean, Marco there, a fantastic lap time into the 21s. His teammate alongside him on that front row. How big is that going to be for the Williams at the start of this race?
Oh, it's going to be absolutely crucial, especially when you've got your teammate alongside you. And it's always going to be crucial, especially when you're up there, because you can start playing a little bit of team strategies. Now, of course, turn number one, it can be very easy to overshoot and have incidents. So we've seen it before. Will we see it again? But it is the two Finnish drivers up on the front row, just under a tenth and a half between them. Epic Daniel, like we said, in third, just ahead of Arnold in fourth. Craig in fifth, just slightly behind. Then we've got Lakitu and Turtle together. Alex in eighth. Dave, Axelot, Canard. And then we've got Curie, Jacob, Casper, Morgan, and then Colin bringing up the back. It did not seem to get a lap time in at all.
No, and Colin will be very disappointed with that lap time. But Colin has always been a driver that does usually go better in the race pace compared to qualifying. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's got a setup that is more comfortable for him in the race compared to qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be interesting to see. Now, I'm going to quickly disconnect and reconnect so I can put myself on the PlayStation, because then I can hear the audio, because it's doing my head in. I can't hear anything. So I'll be back in a second.
Okay, well, you are doing that. I will quickly run us through the P1 standings. As you see, Alex top in the championship at the moment with 144 points, 7 points ahead of Marco, currently in second place. It is a battle between these two, 7 points separating them coming into tonight. And will Marco take the championship lead coming into the final round of the championship? Time will tell. Kevin unfortunately retired from the season. He's currently in third, but then of course we got Craggy on 90 points in fourth, Lakitu on 80 points in fifth, Mert in sixth on 78 points. Then of course we got 62 points for Callum and Armed. Epic in eighth on 61 points, a very close battle between those two. Casper in ninth on 47 and 41 points with J. Cole rounding out the top 10. Outside of the top 10 we got Senna, we got Morgs, we got Axellock, Arnold, Colin in 15th on 12 points, and of course we got Dave in 17th on 9 points, and of course we have Gabe in 19th on 6 points, 5 points there for Curry in 20th, and Turtle Master in 21st on 4 points. But the championship very close at the top. And in terms of the constructors as well, it is, I believe it is potentially going to be wrapped up here tonight. I believe mathematically it is alive coming into this race, but Williams, they have a 66-point gap to Haas currently in second place. So Williams with a great opportunity to seal the constructors here tonight. The Drivers' Championship, though, very close with 7 points separating them.
Yeah, indeed. And well, I can hear everything now, so hooray for me. I've got audio, so my brain now will work slightly more as I can hear things. And I can hear you a little bit better as well because you were cutting out on my PC, which was having an update. So all things of well having a PlayStation in the background. So yeah, as you said, Championship is going to be very close indeed. And I will admit, I must adore that start line crash we saw. Well, I saw, because you're in a different screen. But I love, it just always brings a smile just seeing the absolute wackiness that they do on the in the little in-between section. I love it. McCoy won the this race. Is that an omen? Potentially. We'll find out.
Indeed, we will find out. By the way, did you happen to see if we got any gearbox or engine penalties that have been applied here tonight?
I can have a little gander. Let me have a look. So do hold a second as I just go scroll through a lot of things to find out. I think One Hub's Twitter put a thing of who's got it. So it's, yeah, P1. So we've got 3 people. Craig is taking an engine, McCoy and Mars taking gearboxes.
Okay, so the front row will no longer be a Williams front row to start this race,
Yes,
with the two of them taking gearbox penalties. Very interesting indeed. Before we go any further, though, we do have to go through our sponsors and partners here at Delta.app, One Hub Racing. Of course, our title sponsor at Delta.app. Track your investments like the leading investors in the world with Delta, and of course...
that was a notification, sorry.
I was about to say, what was that?
I didn't realise I had my phone on in the background and it just suddenly blasted music through. Apologies right there.
That completely threw me off, I did.
Anyway, yes, where were we?
Go for the sponsors and partners. Of course, Delta app. Track your investors like the world's top investors. And there's quite a few. Use exclamation Delta in the Twitch chat. Or click the link in the YouTube description if you're watching this back on YouTube later. You'll be able to use it to track your investments. Of course, this is for 18 over only. Next Level Racing, who provide some fantastic prizes here in One Hub. Of course, some fantastic rigs, and they have there for you guys to check out. Sim Racing Setups, of course. Who provide vouchers, of course, for the driver of the day, and of course a £100 voucher for the driver of the season. And of course, if you guys use the discount code One Hub Racing at the checkout, you'll get 5% off. Pure Sim Gear, who of course, if you use code OHR10P, you'll get 10% off at the checkout. And of course they provide either a pair of Pure Sim Gear gloves or socks for the most combined pole positions and fastest lap. And of course Vespertwin, who of course sponsor our official apparel. Sim Grid, who of course help us in terms of the standings and everything, otherwise we'd be using Google Forms and it would be an absolute nightmare. And of course, SimGrid made things very easy, as you just saw running through the standings just a moment ago. And last but not least, our charity, the Mental Health Foundation. If you need to talk to someone, make sure you do. It is very important. Never suffer in silence.
Yes, indeed. I'm just going to try and find the permutations, by the way, again, so I can run through those ones. And there are some are up here. There they are. So... basically, the situation is Alec wins this race, Marco must finish at least 6th, otherwise Alex wins the championship. Now, Alex, I'm not sure where he qualifies in the end of this. We'll find out when we get into the session because of the grid penalties. But it can certainly be an interesting race, this one, isn't it?
Absolutely. I believe Alex may have qualified P8, so he will probably be starting directly behind his championship rival in Marco. So that's going to be very interesting on the rundown into turn 1. Of course, Marco will have his teammate Mert that is going to be alongside him, so maybe a bit of a defensive masterclass going to go on from the second Williams driver to help his teammate win the championship. Maybe we'll see a Perez type defensive masterclass from Mert here on Alex.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, defending's always going to be one thing. You've got to be very careful that you get the defending absolutely perfect, because it is a very easy circuit to make a mistake and then you end up in contact. We've seen it before. Like I said, in P3, we've seen it in P4 as well. Just how fine margins they are for contact. Now, I don't know how your P2 race went in terms of streaming, but like we said, we do have to watch out for the pit lane, because of course a lot of people did in the P4 tier and the P3 tier pick up penalties, which did throw some of the races. Now, of course, some of these penalties, if you save the clips, can be removed, and I think a lot of them will be, but you've got to be careful. Yeah,
absolutely. See, I believe it did happen to a few drivers in P2. I know it definitely happened to me in P3 earlier, so that is something for the drivers to keep an eye on. In the drivers' press conference, of course, Animal was called in. The question was put to him. Coming to the end of your first season, how do you feel you've done looking at the results? It's been some good ones, but also some not so good. So would you say consistency could be improved on? Animal responds saying, I feel like I've done par for my skill level. Consistency in my driving isn't the issue. I believe I just need to learn more about optimal setups for the race and quality and how to adjust them for a pad. I've been very strong and consistent with my driving and decision making in races. I just need to find that extra bit of game knowledge with ERS management and setup that the top players have. Overall, I'm happy with my consistency, especially in the races, to play to my level and make good decisions. Finding the tech in the setups and especially in nailing my qualifying will be key to me taking my play into the next level. I enjoy the competition, and not being at the top fighting for wins and championships gives me motivation to take my game to the next level. My goal is always been to be the best American player and one of the best pad players on console in the world. So that is what Animal has said in the driver's press conference, and of course, interesting to get into the mind of Animal as he looks to see out the end of the season and obviously target higher for next season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how people drive on the pad on this game. I'm a pad and wheel user now. I got a wheel the other day, and I will admit, don't like F1 on a wheel, so I mean, luckily I don't have to race on it because I like the commentary box, but I prefer Gran Turismo racing on a wheel, in my humble opinion. But yeah, to be really quick on a pad, it's difficult in my opinion. I will admit, of course, on the older F1 games, I used to be pretty quick on a pad, though that was normally different conditions, and that was like F1 2018 and 19. These modern games, I don't get along with them well on a pad, though. I find them extremely easy to spin up the rears. So all fair play to people on the pad, especially if they're using no assists.
Yeah, absolutely. I think no assist on the pad is a very difficult thing to get the grips on. I've only ever been on the pad for half of a game cycle back on F1 2019, and I couldn't run no assists. I had to have medium traction control on back then. And as soon as I got onto the wheel, I was able to take the assists off, and it was better from there. But yeah, it was pad. If you can go no assists and you're still quick, that takes a lot of talent.
No, absolutely. So, like I said, in Abu Dhabi, we've got, I think it's 29 laps. I've done this 3 times, and I still can't remember how many laps we go. But here we go then with 5 red light over the circuit. Who can be champion here today in Abu Dhabi? Look, I never stare because we're underway. Ammo gets a good start then. What about Arnaud in the Alpine? Coming to the inside, down towards turn 1. I think it is going to be Epic Ammo leading the way then. Has everyone got through clean turn 1? I think someone's gone straight on into the wall there. Down towards turn 1, especially very deep. But has everyone got through turn 2 and 3 correctly? Yes, they do. So Epic leads the way then from Arnaud. Lakito in 3rd. Turtle in 4th. You've got yellow flags and someone's hit the wall in the background, I think. It must be J. Cole who's adding into them then. So he's involved. I think Craig's involved as well because he's right down the back of the field as well. So trouble for those ones. But Animal's got the jump he wants. But here comes Arnaud then. To the outside then. Late braking then. They're going to touch wheels down towards the decay. And I think more contact on the exit. Careful you don't end up doing the corrosion on the exit. But they've got themselves absolutely perfect through there. Side by side. Arnaud then's going to go left. Is he going to go right? I have to go the long. Around the outside of turn number 9. Then late braking he comes in. But it's going to be surely it's going to be Animal on the. But I think Arnaud's got straight round the outside. Brilliant manoeuvre then from the Alpine driver. He says, well, have that one, sunshine. I'm going for first, he says. And well, and certainly he has then. Through he comes then to the end of first lap. Arnaud is now your race leader and is already starting to pull the gap then of nearly half a second. What a move, though, from the Alpine driver.
Absolutely fantastic. He was able to just find the grip all the way around the outside at turn 9 and just make that move done. In behind those two fighting, we had the championship rivals getting a little bit closer contact with Marco and Alex side by side. It was momentarily 3 wide coming into the chicane with, I believe it was Mert in there as well, and Turtles managed to take advantage. He's up in the P5 now ahead of Alex and Mert. So very interesting that is going on as Mert tries it down the inside of Alex into the hairpin, and he actually does get it done, but Alex might have a chance to come back as up the front, Arnold losing out to Animal with that DRS.
Yeah, it's swapping and swerving. They're going to touch each other down into the chicane. There'll be no damage done between those two. A little bit of rubbing, there's a little bit of racing here, but it's a double dose of DRS, and is Arnold going to come straight back then? He's got a massive overspeed in that car. He's going to go to the outside again, then second opportunity. You've done it once. Surely you can't do it twice of 2 laps. Side by side for here. Don't touch, boys. They get away with it. Again, Arnaud has done it straight around the outside. 2 incredible maneuvers then. Further back, you can just see the Williams there starting to come through the field of McCoy, and Lakitu just a little bit ahead of him as well. But these two battling the way. But are they battling a little bit too hard? Are they taking more out of their tyres doing this?
Potentially. I mean, obviously, Arnold's just finding the grip around the outside. I don't think they're going, what's called, they're not completely destroying their tyres. Arnold is just finding that grip around the outside of turn 9, which is really helping him just keep Epic Animal in behind for the time being. One thing I think is going to be interesting is just the ERS management, because you see Arnold, he's already used 20% more than Animal.
Lakitu is battling away with the Williams. Lakitu got a bad exit there. I don't know if Williams touched him. They almost touched on the exit. Here we go then. DRS between the pair of them. And are we going to see a dive down to the inside then? Here goes the battle for the lead. Nearly thought about a move then. That's braking way too late there. He's in the... Off the road goes Lakitu. He's not done that one well. Has he got damage on the front of the Red Bull? I'll be amazed if he hasn't something there. I think he might have got away with it. On the outer, no, he hasn't. He has got front wing damage. So that's not worked. He's hitting the wall then. So unless he hit the back of Animal, there's always an opportunity. But I think that's going to probably be a straight line to the pit lane, don't you think? Look at the damage.
Yeah, absolutely. As in behind Lakitu and Alex, we saw a little bit of sideways action there from Callum and Dave on the exit of turn 9. Both of them a little bit sideways there. Lakitu, though, heartbreak for him. He just outbroke himself coming down towards the chicane, and now he's just an absolute sitting duck into the pits. He'll go, and it's going to be a long race now for Lakitu, because he's going to have to go hard now to the end of the race, and it's a 10-second time penalty.
Yeah, that's pretty much on the coffer, and then so he's gonna probably he'll carry on. He won't retire from this race. He's a wise old fox, and let's see what he can do. Safety cars could come in later on, but that's going to be what 10-10. So he's going to have to go 13 laps on the hards, and if he's got on a set of hards and on the 13, you'll get to the end there. That's possible because we've seen it in the other tiers. Meanwhile, up front, look who's come to the battle. Then here's the Williams, and he's got the bit between his teeth.
Yep, the Williams definitely does have the bit between his teeth. Marco closing up to Animal, but right now, I mean, Marco, he's in a good position right now. Obviously, he's got his championship rival, Alex, a couple of places behind. He's got his teammate in between as well. He hasn't got to really force anything at this stage in the race.
No, he doesn't. He can just play a little bit of a cautious game. Epic Animal was very cautious into that corner. Then I thought for a second Marco was about to go careering to the side of him, but these three battling away as there is the Williams now up to 4th position. So the other of the two Williams is jumping up the order. So he's just past Turtle Master. And I'm getting that out of the long left-hander into those quadruple little rights where Rosberg had that big off in 2012. So Alex down in 6th position. Now remember, I believe this is Alex needs to be pretty much the opposite way around here, I think, to win this title. So it's not looking the way he wants it to right now.
Yeah, 7 points the gap coming in tonight. And of course, at the moment, Alex in this current position, that is 8 points that Alex is picking up. And Marco currently picking up 14, which is a 6-point swing, which would bring the championship down to a singular point in it going into the final race of the season if it remains like this.
Yeah, it's going to be incredibly close. Here is Epically Animal then. And I don't think he'll be making a move from this far back, but we're just keeping an eye on this battle up front because it is absolutely incredible. First, second, third, fourth, fifth. Pretty much down to 6th position. They're all in a line. A tiny bit of a gap then to Dave. Then comes Casper, and then the two McLarens, Linus, Stern, Axel slightly further back, and then, of course, Colin, and then the two Ferraris who've had a torrid start of the race. Morgan with damage. I think Craig, who pitted earlier on then, as well as Dave makes a move, trying to go around the outside. That's not going to work. Thinks better of it.
Oh, that was Casper down the inside through turn 9, able to just get the grip on the inside. So it shows that the inside does have a decent amount of grip as well. So it just shows how confident Arnold was with the grip on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, both lines work quite well. It depends how much downforce you've got. Some of these drivers might be running a slightly bit more downforce to counteract the straight line speed, or slightly less to make the overtakes down here. I'll tell you what, Arnold's, it's just a DRS train right now. Look at them all together. I haven't seen a DRS train, especially commentating P4. I haven't seen much of a DRS train. Normally spread out, so it's always pretty tense to see how close they all are. And all it takes is one mistake, and then, well, it's a cascade of effects, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think obviously especially once you get up to the higher tiers in P2 and P1 especially, once you get here, if you make a mistake and you're outside the DRS, that can literally be your race over.
Yeah, certainly can. You can just see Epic Animal just saving a bit of his ERS right now, not using it down the straight. You'll just wait for the opportunity when it arrives later on. Now, in terms of tyres, let's have a little look, see who's on what. So the top 7 are all on the medium compound tyres. Dave's on that set of hard compound tyres, 9th, 10th and 11th on the mediums, and then pretty much the rest of the field, apart from Jaco, on the set of hard further back. To Lakito and Craig swapped positions just as I was looking at that one. So they're battling down into the chicane. Well, it definitely shows how much time those guys have lost. And I think, if I'm correct in saying, they have, pretty choked down and all stopped, so they're unscheduled. We're expecting pit stops around about now. Well, ironically, there we are, straight into the pit lane was Animal.
Yeah, and of course the undercut around here is very poignant as well. So getting the early pit stop could be beneficial for Animal. He might be able to get himself not only ahead of Arnold, but out of DRS range as well.
Yeah, it's all going to be quite crucial. The undercut strategy. Now, I think it's around about 2 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, you can gain.
I think about 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds, yeah. But,
yeah, so as long as he gets it nice and hooked up there, it's like you do just that's the fastest lap of the motor race. He's just coming through towards turn 1 a little bit further back in this one. He's in a bit of a strategical nightmare right now because, like I said, he's got to do a lot of things, and you've got yellow flags. Now, what's that for? It's Lakito, is it not? No, it's Lakito. He's damaged. Has he lost his front wing again? I think he has.
Yeah, he's missing a bit of that front left end plate.
Now, how has he done that then? So that's out of turn 1. That's into turn 2. Now, has he spun on the inside, I'm guessing? Surely he has then, because you can't spin on the outside, because where he was. So he's hit the inside wall, out of turn number 2 as the Ferrari just behind him of Morgan passes Curie then for 14th and 15th. This is not looking like the afternoon for the Red Bull, though, is it?
No, and Arnold stays out and Marco's into the pit, so Arnold is going to be at risk now from undercut from everyone in behind. And Alex following Marco in, following his championship rival into the pit lane, so it's going to be interesting to see where they're going to come out now relative to those that have already made a pit stop. Of course, Turtle Master and Callum, they come out on fresh mediums, and of course, Mert and Animal, both on fresh hards.
Now let's see then. So where is Animal going to be? Well, he's going to be well ahead of the cars around him. There's Murr. There is McCoy then. So what's that going to be? That's going to be well over a few seconds nearly. That's 2 seconds? Pretty much, give or take. So yeah, my prediction was pretty correct there, wasn't it?
Yeah, Animal was a little bit ahead of Marco before coming into the pits. But yeah, around about 1.5 to 2 seconds, the advantage was for Animal right there, and he does have Mert in DRS that is trying to close back up, and Marco's going to be hoping that his teammate can maybe help him out a little bit and just try and put the pressure on Animal, allow Marco to close up, and then Marco can try and take over from there.
Yeah, indeed. I'm just looking through the tyres then. So we're expecting Arnaud and Casper in the pit, and I think they're going to have to come in this lap, because unless you can stretch it, maybe one more, and then, of course, double set of hards, 10 laps on both. But I think right now it's press the opportunity. And he comes. That's risky for Arnaud. Very much nearly spun in the pit lane entry, and somehow hasn't got a penalty from that one. Because, as I mentioned, normally there's a triple warning through there. So he's got away with that one by the skin of his teeth. But where is Epic going to be in all of this? Well, he's going to be ahead of them. That's for certain. The question is how ahead of them?
Well, coming down in towards turn number 1 now is Epic, and we're going to go on board with Arnold just to see where he's going to filter out to. As you see a lot of cars coming through turns 1 and 2 right now. Arnold's going to come out behind Turtle and just ahead of Alex, but Alex will have the overspeed somewhat, but he's not going to be close enough to challenge Arnold. So Arnold goes from P1 to a net P5.
Yeah, that's not the ideal strategy for him then. So he's lost, well, probably about 2-3 seconds then. So that's the strategic blunder. And like we said, especially with these DRS trades, that's all it takes is just a slight mistake on the pit stop, and you're plummeting down the order. So that means Epically Animal will take what is going to be the net lead of this race when Dave pits. Of course, unless we get a safety car, a virtual safety car, that might switch things up ever so slightly, as actually he's been overtaken by Alex then. So down another position, and now he's going to have the McLaren, especially very much warm tyres, on set of medium compounds, will have a little bit of better grip, especially for the next, probably what, 4 or 5 laps, would you say?
Yeah, until around about lap 6, I'll say, then the mediums will really start to fall off a bit. But right now, very interesting that Turtle and Callum, they've gone for another set of mediums, which indicates to me that they're going to be looking to pit maybe around lap 15 for a set of hards to the end of the race.
14 laps on the high, it's a bit of a stretch. I mean, it's not out the realms of possibility, but your tyres will be crying at the last, like, 1 or 2 lap times. So unless you can stretch these tyres out a tiny bit more, probably what I'm going to put at lap 17, I think it was, ideally, for the set of hards to really be their optimal window. So it's going to be a tall order. Now, these P1 drivers are alien to me. So as Lakitu gets himself a 3-second time penalty, that's familiar. Penalties starting to come in. Dave's also got a penalty as well. Only 2 so far in lap 10. But he's going to have to stretch those tyres out a long, long way, aren't they?
Yeah, I think Dave obviously starting on the hards. He's put himself at risk of falling well down the order with the strategy by staying out. But he's going to hope that things come back to him later in the race. But picking up time penalties, that is definitely not going to aid his attempts to come back through the field late into this race.
No, I don't think it is indeed. Your mic just cut out for me then, but it'll fix itself in due course. It does that. It's just Discord sometimes doesn't like me. I'll be honest. It does random things, but like I said, Dave, talking about it's just got another one. So is that a curse you've just given potentially? I think it might be, Chief. And Epically Animal in second.
I don't think so. I don't think so. It wasn't me.
It wasn't you. Was it me? Maybe. I do tend to bring curses to people. Epic Am had a big slide through turn number 1, but he's got away with it. He's got that DRS trade. He's got Mers and McCoy then right behind him. Trying to figure out the names still there. I do get used to it eventually. How do you pronounce its 4th position?
Well, I've always called him Marco.
Right, we'll call him Marco then. That fixes it. He's right behind his teammate. So let's see what happens between the two Williams. They're chasing down the Racing Bulls big lock up there. You can definitely tell they're not using it. It's battling further back. Here's Alex and Ardard. They've tossed once, twice. There's a third nibble for him for better measure. And let's see who's got the DRS on who then. They both got DRS. Let's see around the outside. We've seen around the outside of here before. Here we go, around the outside again. Be careful you don't cut too much in, because it's very easy to get on that curve and then you have a tank slapper and then bang, bang, bang. And let's see side by side through here. And I'm surely you're going to have to back out on. You're not going to go around the outside here, surely. He's going to get a crop up. He's going to try it. Has he got the job done? There we go. That was always going to happen. And a 3-second time penalty for Alex. Alex did a very good job trying to avoid that. I think that penalty is a little bit harsh.
I mean, maybe one of the warnings was on pit lane entry, so maybe if he doesn't pick up another one, he could look at getting it removed. But yeah, you could just see that they were going to make contact coming through the final sector there. It was always going to happen in that double left-hander, but yeah, Arnold unfortunately losing out a bit, and then of course Alex picking up that 3-second time penalty, really putting the pair of them now on the back foot.
Yeah, so he's going to have to redo that strategy and think about that again. I mean, it was an optimistic overtake. I wasn't expecting that one. I was caught off guard. And I think Alex was as well, because normally that corner is one at a time, historically. Now, I have seen people go 2x2 through there. In fact, there it was 2x2 through there a minute ago. So there we go. But normally, 8 out of 10 times, it's always going to end up in a little bit of contact. So it's difficult to say. Meanwhile, here comes Mers, trying to have a move on the lead, but he's not going to quite do it right there. His teammate is sniffing about his rear end like a ravaged dog right now, and I think, are they going to let each other through? Yes, they do.
Yep, there is the call there from the Williams pit wall, and Marco let loose to go hunting now after Animal. Dave's still going strong on his initial set of hard tyres, still waiting for him to come into the pits, and in fact, there we go, as we mentioned, there he is into the pits.
So 11 laps he's done then. So 12 laps technically, as I think is a little bit glitched out on my end, seeing who's on what laps, because apparently Epic's currently done 14 laps on his set of hards, which is not correct, because he only stopped up pretty certain like 6-7 laps ago. So I think the telemetry's had a bit of a moment for me as they go on. So Marco then is going to have a challenge, presumably on Epic the Animal down. Maybe he lists that. I'm not quite sure. I think Animal's got a bit more pace right now at this stage of the race, but it's certainly coming.
Yeah, absolutely. And just looking at the ERS as well, it looks like Animal is actually slightly better on ERS than Marco right now. And Mert saving up his battery in behind the course. All he needs to do is just use a dab of it to make sure he doesn't come under threat from the cars behind. And then he can just use DRS.
Here's the second of the DRSs, and again, no moving down here. They're just holding station for now, and the race will come to them later on. Meanwhile, in the background, Alex is flying up the inside of Turtle Master, and he's got the position up to P4. That was a super late dive then. He's got the job done, absolutely perfectly clean, and, well, he's starting to make his move through the field now, and you got to wonder if I made that mistake earlier on. Do you reckon he might have picked up some damage?
It doesn't appear so. I mean, he's still going pretty strong. He's almost on the back of this train as well. I don't think he's picked up the damage as he's just got himself back within DRS range. But yeah, it looks like Arnold might have got away with that one a bit scot-free right there, just losing time rather than wing damage. Fortunate for him. Turtle Master, though, I think those mediums are starting to fall away from him now.
Yeah, I was about to mention that. These medium tires are probably just becoming before their sale date, and well, when they hit the sale date, definitely it's a use by date more than a sell by date on these things. You don't want to use them too much after them, because they go off like some cheese or some milk, which has been left in the fridge a little bit too long. But here we go then. DRS, I think Arnold's going to have to move up the inside here. It's going to be a dive, I reckon, here, as there's battling up front. Here's a dive then, as I mentioned, get the job done. Yep, forces him to not be able to turn in the corner. That's smart play then. And here we go, then up front. Here comes Marco on Epic the Animal. This is the battle we were waiting for. And is he going to make a move to the outside there? He's seen one driver go on the outside of Epic the Animal so far this afternoon. Well, there's another one right around the outside, and Epic had nothing he could do about it.
Oh, Marco with the overspeed and just carrying that speed all the way around the outside, able to make that move and get it done through turn 9. Fantastic there from the Williams. And of course, Arnold, he did manage to get through on the Turtle with that dive, but it was very controlled from Arnold as well. It wasn't a reckless dive, which is always great to see.
Yeah, and now he's going to try and waltz away. He's already got 7 attempts on Epic the Animal, so he had some pace and reserve there, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like Marco, he's just got the raw pace around here at the moment, but Epic, all he needs to do is just make sure he stays within DRS, and that'll just drag him right back underneath that rear wing.
Yeah, and he's just, of course, remember, it's about 6 attempts to the DRS zone down here, and you can potentially make an overtake. Now, that, of course, depends on ring levels and all of that lot, but Mers just behind, he's about 6 attempts as well, and won't be getting, well, again, double dose of DRS, yellow flags, and that's one of the Ferrari. Morgan, I'm guessing. It is Morgan. Now, I don't think he's got any damage, so he's just spun the car then. Yeah, so he's just spun the car then for that's turn number 3. In comes J. Cole then into the pit lane for a set of presumable hard compound tyres to try to go the next 13 and a bit laps in this race. Marco having a bit of a defence led down the straight, just trying to break the toe ever so slightly from Epic the Animal, who's now got that gap back down to 4 attempts, but it's very, very close stuff between all of these drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. Epic just making sure he stays within touching distance of Marco, because obviously this race can still be flipped on his head in a moment, whether that's through strategy or through a virtual safety car or a safety car being deployed. You never know what can happen in Formula 1, and if anything can happen, it usually will.
Yeah, indeed. So anything can happen, as the wise Murray Walker once said. Yeah, and everything normally does happen when he says that. Normally, right instantly, as I've been watching a lot of old F1 and just finished watching Murray Walker's 10 years coming here, and now watching 2002, which is very much of a jump when you got James Allen and Martin Brundle, a pairing I grew up with a little bit more, of course, than watching Murray, though Murray has my... as people keep calling me Murray, because I used to go, oh god, whenever there was an accident. I haven't done that for many of a year now.
I reckon you should bring it back.
I should. Maybe I will if there's a big accident. It'll come out one day, but here goes Epic. 4 attempts to gap. Oh, is he going to try and bring another challenge back, Len? On to the Williams driver. He's a little bit far back right now, but he is burning some ERS as Curie battles away down the back, and he's just overtaken, I think, lost a bit to one of the cars. In fact, he's just coming to the pit lane, so that's why he's lost position. So we've only got 1, 2, 3 penalties so far this afternoon. That's 3 seconds for Alex, that's 6 for Dave, and 3 for Lakitu. Now, the question is how many of them potentially are penalties due to the pit lane? When we know with Dave it wasn't. I think Alex wasn't, and I believe Lakitu wasn't either. As in comes first, in comes second.
And I'm surprised that Alex didn't follow suit and follow Marco into the pits. Obviously, trying to stay on the same strategy as his championship rival, stay as close as possible. I'm surprised he stayed out an extra lap.
Yeah, he's just trying to... Maybe he's trying to do an offset strategy and just have slightly better tyres. But it's the time you lose, really, that's the critical thing. On this, of course, he's gambling on staying out, hoping there's a safety car, which it's possible. We've seen safety cars pop out right about now when people have pitted. It's been quite a critical thing, especially for the P4 Championship with safety cars coming at just the wrong opportunity, as Tunnel Master has been overtaken by Casper in the McLaren then. So that's the line I was talking about, by the way, on Tunnel Master. You take really much of that curve and open it up.
There's a battle going on right now for the race lead as Mert defending from Alex. Alex with DRS just going to cruise by, and that's going to open the door for Arnold to maybe have a look down the inside. He's down the inside, side-by-side action, and Arnold's got the traction, and he's got that position done and dusted. So Arnold taking advantage of Mert caught nabbing there in turn 9.
Yeah, and I didn't quite see it because I was looking at the back, but yeah, it's probably they're all going to come in the pit lane this lap, you would imagine. So It's going to be a battle of who's got the best pit stop then. So let's see, Alex surely comes in. 1, 2, 3. Late move into the pit lane. He got away with it, I think, potentially.
Late move into the pits from Alex and Arnold, and Mert follow through. Axlock with a 3-second time penalty. Casper now takes the lead of the race. Colin with a 3-second time penalty. And Dave, obviously doing a very alternative strategy, isn't doing too bad to be fair. He's only 5.5 seconds off the back of Casper. So it could be points on the court. Could be points on the cards for Dave, perhaps.
Yeah, because he has got that one more stop in the race in the pit. Probably this lap, I reckon, if anything. So the alternative strategy, is it working for points? Well, I think it is, because outside, especially because these 3-4 drivers at the back from, I think, 12th down, they've all had trouble in this race. So anything can happen in the last, 11 and a bit laps. And in terms of the championship, we believe it's going to go on to the next race. It definitely is. So you'll be able to get Jess back for the finale, commentating over the championship final, and hopefully Jamie as well. And of course, to Jamie, congratulations on your title, and we hope you better soon as well. But it's a long afternoon, a lot of racing, and we've still just got a little bit over, just under half of the race to go. And that means we've got 12 laps, and Casper coming in the pit lane, I reckon, right about now.
Yep, into the pits he comes, and of course he's going to get off those hard compound tyres. Dave going to carry on, and I think Dave, obviously he's probably going to go another 3 laps at most on those mediums. I think he'll be in the pits at the end of lap 20, perhaps, to put on a fresh set of mediums to the end. But that's another 3-second time penalty, and that really is not ideal for him, as Callum and Armed fastest lap of the race. And I'm just doing the math. Obviously, if Alex is able to get his 3-second time penalty removed, Craggy's out of the race as he's retired in the pit lane. I was going to say, if Alex can get his 3-second time penalty removed and it ends with Marco winning and Alex in third, again, it's 1 point separating them in the championship.
Yeah, it's going to be close no matter what. So this final race in Las Vegas, as Dave's, well, that's a little bit cheeky. Not sure you want to do that, Dave. I mean, you are in an Aston Martin. I suppose you're doing the Fernando Alonso match. But, you see, that's not ideal, getting a 10-second time penalty for track limits. And, well, if he was getting points, I don't think he's getting points anymore.
Yeah, I think Dave's chance of points now has just absolutely gone out the window with that 10-second time penalty, as Arnold's closing up to the back of Alex here for what is net P3. And it's important for Arnold to get this move done, because you never know.
Dave nearly did a cool fod in the pit lane and gets another 10-second time, man. How is he not just wow, okay, he's got well, never mind. There's the end of that one. Out goes the Aston Martin. That's unfortunate. We don't really want to see that. That wasn't the most ideal final lap for him there, was it?
Absolutely not. And I think Dave might have just, honestly, after he got that third time penalty, I think he just knew his race was over, and he was like, yeah, I'm just coming into the pits now to retire. But look at this now, Arnold getting the run on Alex, and with DRS, it's going to be a job done. Mert not close enough, so Alex is going to be safe from getting overtaken by the Williams in behind, but not ideal for him, as the Alpine moves up into P3 now.
Yeah, so the Alpine's back on the move from the, of course, these two collided, remember, I think it was a few laps. So this time they've got away with each other scot-free, and now can Arnold go chase down Epic Lamb? He seems to have more pace, Arnold. We've seen it earlier on, and these two battling is a lovely thing to see. So let's see what they can do. 9 laps to go in this race. Gap between them is currently sitting at 1.5 seconds, or just outside of the DRS. I tell you what, Epic Animal, could he try and come back at the race leader? I don't think so. I think unless he's made a mistake, he gets a time penalty. I think Marco might just have this one in the bag.
Yeah, Marco is he's just putting in consistent lap times now, and it's just edging him away lap by lap from Animal. But Arnold is closing in on Epic quicker than what Marco is dropping Epic. So maybe Arnold, if he can get through on Epic, might be able to drag everyone back up to Marco here.
Yeah, DRS pulling along here. It does work quite well. So let's see that gap 1.2 seconds. We won't get DRS down here. If you get a really good exit out of here and you don't have Alex hounding you out of this corner, you might just be able to do it. But I think Alex, is he going to try and make a move down here? He's got the DRS. Is he going to try and cover his eye? No, he's not. So, I mean, this could work quite well as well. If they DRS chicken play each other, and that's basically slingshotting them, which we do see quite a lot in, especially like some and you can see it at Jeddah. Look, now they're in DRS of Epic Diamond. So you know what? Ironically, that's worked quite well for Alex, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's worked brilliantly for Alex, and of course that is the obviously the racing IQ of these guys. Obviously not to fight too much, use each other to try and get themselves a better position. That is what separates obviously the top tier drivers from newer drivers and new to league racing.
Yeah, I'm just watching this in awe. This is incredible watching this along, and it's just, you kind of learn how these drivers race as well, and it's for me who doesn't do a lot of racing, it kind of just awe-inspiring just seeing how these drivers do it. Like we said, we are now currently in the last 6 or 7 laps of this race, and Alex surely now, he probably wants P2, because if he can get a P2 and just open that gap a tight, well, reduce the gap that is Marco closing in, that's what he wants to do, isn't it?
Yeah, he wants to make sure he goes into the final round, at least with the championship lead, but he ideally wants to finish ahead of Marco, but it just looks like Marco's just got the race controlled at this stage, and Alex just needs to minimize the damage, and finishing P2, if he's able to get that 3-second time penalty removed, will be very ideal for him going into the final race next week in Las Vegas. But here he comes with DRS, and it's going to be clean around the outside before the break-in for the corner.
Yeah, I don't think Alex had Epic had anything he could do there. I think his tyres are slightly going off then. I mean, they're not going off too badly, but I think he's just... Does he want to get involved in this championship battle, end up having attacked? Not ideally, he probably wouldn't, but he just wants to get these podiums, and podiums are always quite crucial for your own battles, and your own almost turns into the wall then, so, well, that nearly became even worse for Cropper from Epically Animal, but he's got away with that one. Third position right now, but look who's very much closing. It's his favourite rival from the first 2 laps. Guess who it is? It's Yachty Arnold, and he is pushing. He is quick. We know right now Arnold in this race, had he not got involved in some scuffles earlier on and done that early pit stop, I think he would have won this race. Possibly.
And that is big right there. It looks like Alex might have just gotten out of DRS range on Animal. And that could leave Animal a bit of a sitting duck here, because, yeah, Animal does not have DRS. Arnold does. Arnold is going to close up, but he's not closing up quick enough to go for a move into the chicane. But maybe in a lap or two's time, he might be able to get a move done.
Yeah, it's going to be close. And looking at the gap up front, it was 2.3. It's now 1.9. It's coming down ever so slightly between Marco and Alex, but Alex with that 3-second time penalty, whether or not it'll be removed, I don't know. I can't tell you. Actually, I can tell you. I'm going to go in the race director and have a look at incidents. So let's see if I see a triple thing for Marco. There's one for Dave, so Dave can get one removed. And looking through, not seeing. I think it's a genuine penalty, you know, Chief.
Potentially. I mean, Roscoe, I mean, earlier it was a singular warning I picked up in the pit lane entry, so it might have been just an unfair warning from the game on the pit lane entry that he might have had. If there is a warning there on a lap that he's pitted, it's possible that he might be able to get that removed.
Yeah, so I was looking, so he pitted, when did he do his first stop? That's what I'm wondering, and I'll be able to tell you. So lap 11 he got a penalty, so yeah, that was after he pitted, so yeah, it's not going to be removed. So whatever it is, he's going to have to stick with it and try and open that gap as much he can, because if it stays like this, it's going to be 1 point between them in the final round.
I mean, right now, I think obviously with a 7-point gap, Marco's going to gain 3 on him if it stays like this, and Alex can get that penalty removed. It will be a 4-point gap, but obviously with that 3-second time penalty lingering, Alex will end up dropping to P5 and the championship lead will go to Marco if it stays like this.
It's going to be incredibly close then for the last race of the season. 5 and a bit laps to go. And who are we seeing any battle? Well, let's have a look. I'm going to look through the film to see who's going on. We've got the McLarens battling together with Red Bull. So that's Casper and Turtle Master battling together. Turtle Master very sorry was out of the last 2 corners. Gets away with that one. Callum a little bit further back in his second McLaren. Axellock is currently in 9th. Colin is currently down in 10th position. Who is currently in the last point scoring position? It is J. Cole, a very lonely 12th place right now for him, I would say. Not as lonely as Lakitu, though.
Yeah, I think Lakitu, he's probably going to come into the pits and go for fastest lap in the next lap or so. Try and walk away with a point in this race. I think that'll be the plan for Lakitu. Of course, a very long race for him. I mean, that instant of lap 1 where he had to come in early and get what's called a fresh ring repaired and everything. It's just really put him on the back foot.
Yeah, it certainly has. Meanwhile, gap up front, 1.5 seconds. It's coming down to probably, 2-3 tenths a lap. So if he can keep doing this, remember, I said earlier on, Alex coming in a lap later. Is he trying to do the minuscule of tyre offset? It might just be working for him. There is a chance this could pay off.
Well, here's going to be the interesting thing, right? If Alex can get onto the back of Marco and get ahead of Marco, obviously Alex with that 3-second time penalty, he's not going to win the race. But surely if you're Alex, you're going to try potentially back up Marco into Epic, Arnold and Mert to try and minimize the damage. Surely that will be the game plan for Alex now.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see what will happen if, and this is a big big if they do get there. The gap is 1.4 seconds. There is a car. That is a lapped car. Yellow flag. What's that for? Spin for Curie then. So he's made a mistake. That gap coming down anymore. It's hovering at the 1.5 second margin. And just seeing who's got more top speed. Definitely seems Alex got a bit higher top speed than Marco then, it seems. So he's pulled that down, and Marco's got slightly better through the corners. Big slide on the exit, and that might open the gap up another or 2. So it's swapping and swapping then, as Animal's got Arnold right up his chuff, and trying to go for a move around this once. We've seen this tries. Surely you're not going to do it for a 3rd time. Trying to go right around the outside. Now you've got to line up. If you're going to do it, now's your opportunity. Down the inside he goes. Late braking maneuver. Touch. They almost touch. Now side by side right here. Well, this is how you do it. One side. Get set. I'm not going to do that around the outside, he says. Indeed he does. Fair and beautiful play then for Arnold and Animal as they come through then to begin lap 27 of 29. 2 and a bit laps to go as Lee's Chitons from the beginning of the race go hammer and tong on lap 27.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic battle between Epic and Arnold there. And I bet Mert is literally sat there with the popcorn out, waiting for an opportunity just to try and carve his way through one of them, if not both of them.
Yes, certainly. Meanwhile, by the way, slightly further down the field, I've been alerted to it. Battle of the admin team seems to be picking up. It's Colin versus Axellock. Who's going to win that battle? Who's my money on? Well, both of them have time penalties. It's both of 6-second time penalties. So, game is on between the two...
Sorry, Arnold, Mert and Animal very close to each other. And looks like Mert might have just taken advantage of Arnold trying to go on a move on Animal. And with DRS, ERS being deployed, they run down into turn 9. And it's also close between all 3 of them now.
Yeah, all of a sudden, it's kicked up a fuss, and here we go then. Trying to do the switch back around the outside. They almost touch. Look at them rubbing wheels. And you've got to be careful you don't end up veering into a wrong driver here, where you slightly brake later in the key. 3-second time penalty to... So he's just coming to the pit lane, so that's probably entry penalty. But here we go. Arnold, Animal. Then comes... Mers as well in that second William. brilliant battling between all three of these drivers. Lap 28 of this race, slightly wide from Epic the Animal. Then this is now got an opportunity then. DRS down here. Mers has dropped back a little bit further then, so now battle between these two. And 7/10 the gap between first and second. And, crucially, they pulled the gap length. So this is now a net pretty much for first and second. Even though they've got the penalty, they've got the gap.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just about to say, Alex, with that battling going on behind him, has managed to build that gap, and now he's back within DRS range of Marco. So this is going to be a very tasty battle indeed. Of course, Alex, right now, he will still remain the championship leader if things stay as they are, which I think he'll be very happy with what's going on behind him right now with the battling going on between Epic, Arnold, and Mert. I think Marco is going to be livid with the battling that's going on.
Yeah, he's not going to be happy. Yellow flags further down the field. Lakita getting out the way then, so he's just paired, so he's just trying to find himself a gap to try and go for that fastest lap of the race. Here we go then. For lap 29, we're on lap 28. Wait for it. Now we're on lap 29 then. So we've just got one lap left. Can Alex spring a surprise on the final lap of this race to take the race lead? He won't keep it, of course, and then he can get removed. We don't know if he will, but we'll find out in due course. He's going to have really one opportunity then. It's going to in this DRS zone, and then if he gets lucky, a second dose of DRS out of it. Further behind them, here is Epic the Animal and Mers as well. These battling together. There's two great battles going on as we come down the back straight. Look at the background there. The Racing Bulls then covering the inside much he can. Trying to break the toe. Trying to do anything. As a lock-up for McCoy then into the final, into the braking zone. And now this is surely going to allow Marco to come and have opportunity. He'll have the DRS. Yellow flags coming out the last corner. Here comes Marco. Which way is he going to go? He'll go circuit. Swoop to the outside. Round the outside he goes. Done it. Through he comes then. What a brilliant manoeuvre from Marco to take the lead of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix on the final lap of the race. But he won't keep it. I don't think he'll keep it. Epic the Animal is currently in third. Arnold in fourth. Mers is currently fifth. What awesome battling as you come through the last 2-3 corners of this. And here we go. Alex has come through the field. He'll come through the last corner. He'll win the Abu Dhabi. Brilliant move, but he won't keep it. So Marco will win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And here is Epic. He finishes third. Arnold fourth. Mers finishes fifth in the end. And just behind them, Casper and Turtle Master caught right up.
Yeah, they did. As the battle of the admins between Axel Lock and Colin is going to go the way of Axel Lock here, who finishes ahead of Colin R. Mason by 0.4 of a second. Morgan going to come through and pick up P11, and J. Cole, that final point paying position.
Yeah, incredible racing then. So, and I've got a lump back in my throat from earlier on. Oh, that's not ideal. Is he going to finish the race? He's upside down. Oh,
it was before the line.
Jacob, what have you done? I mean, he's crossed the line. Surely, admin, you can give him that position. He's across the line.
He didn't have before the line.
Will he technically keep it? He did cross the line. He did cross the line on my screen. There'll be an argument about that one, I reckon. But, oh dear. That's not ideal. A bit lost of words there. Oh dear. Well, what is it going to do for this championship? Well, it'll be 4 points, I believe, unless that penalty gets removed, in which case it'll be 7 points, I think.
If the penalty's removed, it goes up to 11 points.
11, okay, thank you. It's going to be tight in this final couple of races of this season, isn't it? The final race of this season. So, your official rundown then, as the game's going to let me. It is Marco who wins this race from Alex, Epic, Arnold, Mers, Casper, Turtle Master, Callum, Axelok, Colin, Morgan, Curie, Jaco, Lakitu, Dave, and Craig rounds off that one.
Yeah, Lakitu getting the fastest lap of the race. Fastest lap inside the top 10 does go to Casper. with a 24.4. Good lap from him, so that's an extra point that he's managed to gain. But yeah, what a race, what an exciting end. Marco versus Alex. You had Animal, Arnold, and Mert battling out. You had Casper and Turtle Master battling out as well. And then, of course, you had the admin battle with Axel Lock and Colin. And then, of course, J. Cole. I mean, he DNF'd before the line for me. I know the car may have rolled over the line after, but there's going to be conversations about that one, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And, of course, we're going to go through our driver of the day. Though I think that I avoid what my 2 drivers a day so far, and I think I'll give it to Jess to choose from, because I think they are watching.
Well, I mean, if Jess and Jamie are watching, hopefully they'll be able to go through their driver of the days. If not, should we pick our own driver of the day just in case?
Oh, the question is, who do I give driver of the day? I mean, sure, you're going to have to... My driver of the day is going to have to be Alex. I mean, what a comeback for him. So my question for him, if it is going to be my driver of the day, Jess might choose the same driver of the day, who knows? It's going to be a tight-fought battle there, a last lap move to win the race. How did you enjoy it out there? And the title fight now moves on to the final race with not much between you. Do you think you've got it in the bag, potentially?
Very interesting question. I'm going to go a little bit outside the box, but I'm going to go for a driver that didn't finish on the podium, but provided so many great overtaking maneuvers. I'm going to go for Arnold for my driver of the day. And the question that I'll put to Arnold, incredible race. You were battling throughout. Of course, around the outside of turn 9, your signature move around you. How many laps did you do around this track just to know exactly the grip levels that you would have to always send it around the outside and make it work?
Yeah, indeed. So I think, finally, we're probably going to go through the sponsorship one more time, I believe.
Yep, absolutely. Of course, to our title sponsor at delta.app. Of course, Next Level Racing. Sim racing setups, pure sim gear, Vespa Twin, and of course Sim Grid, and our charity, the Mental Health Foundation. Well, that wraps up round number 11. Of course, next week we will be heading to the final race of the season to Las Vegas for round number 12, and a lot still on the line here in P1 to fight for.
Yeah, I mean, P4 we've nose wrapped up.
Sorry,
P3...
P1, my bad.
Yeah, we're getting tiers mixed up now. We've done too many commentaries. We don't know which tier's doing what. So P1's yet to be wrapped. P2 wrapped up.
P2's drivers is wrapped up. Constructors is still alive, I think, at the moment.
So P1 and P3 still to be wrapped up because Jamie won P4. So who won P2?
P2's driver was Jacob. He won it last time out in Miami, and I believe the constructors. I think there might be some, obviously, unfair warnings and penalties, so we have to wait and see what happens with that. But yeah, that's in the balance with the constructors at least.
Yes, indeed. So I think, if I'm not mistaken now, I've commented tiers here at One Hub. Let's see. So I've seen Lukey says I'm a legend as well as you. So thank you, Lukey, in the chat. But I think we'll round off. So I'll let you say the final word.
Okay, guys, we will be back for racing once again in Las Vegas next week. The season finale. There's still some things on the line to fight for. Of course, Jess and Jamie will be back next week to take you through the P1 processions. And of course, things will return to normal next week. But from myself, Michael Edwards, and from Evil, we'll catch you next week in P4 and in P2. But from us here tonight, is good night.